The Little League World Series rolls on in the Great Lakes region. We welcome you to the first ever Grand Park holding of the Little League World Series regional rounds in Westfield, Indiana, just about 20 miles north of Indianapolis, for Game 3 of this entire tournament and Game 1 of the Great Lakes. There are 6 teams in the Great Lakes, and 2 of them battling today will have an opportunity to get to Williamsport. Those 2 are Hamilton, Ohio, and the representative from Wausau, Wisconsin. Good afternoon, Jim Barber and John Gregory, who played minor league baseball in the Dodgers organization. 2 contrasting programs. Hamilton, Ohio seems to be here every year and has been in the World Series at least a couple of times. But for Wausau, Wisconsin, never to Williamsport. I wonder if the lack of experience may matter in this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll help them along the way. We've got 2 coaches on the Ohio side that have been to the World Series twice. And no team, as you said, from the state of Wisconsin ever has been to the World Series. So new kids every year, though, and we've got new players out here. Just 1 player on both of these teams were here last year, so new experience for everybody.
Yes, you mentioned Tim Nichting and Ken Cooper, coach at Ohio. Let's talk a little bit about Little League Baseball. It's a division of Little League International. The ages are 10 to 13. You cannot have turned 13 before May 1st of this year. We play 6-inning games unless there's a tie. Then we go to extra innings, 2/3 of a conventional field size, and minimum mandatory play that we will get into as we go along. But when we come back, we'll introduce the starting pitcher to you and also the starting batting order, as Ohio will get an opportunity in this game to hit first. Wisconsin will defend, and we will have our 3rd of 20 games on the ESPN networks from Westfield. Ready to play baseball. Again, Hamilton, Ohio will bat first, and they will face Blake Nichols, solid veteran pitcher, getting an opportunity in a big game to get his team 1 up and to the winner's bracket, which is all important if you want to get to the final round here and then on to Williamsport. Let's take a look at the Ohio lineup that will greet him and try to get things started in a most dramatic manner. Brady Moore will lead off. Kate Polito will bat second. Blake Deathridge will hit third. Then Lake Cundiff will bat fourth. Davis Every is fifth. J.C. Taylor batting left-handed is 6th. Casey Parsons 7th. Nick Brocious, the left-handed hitter, 8th. And Clint Moak will bat 9th. There's a look at Braden Moore, considered to be the best overall player, and he will face this man on the mound, Blake Nichols. And game 3 of this tournament, and the first game of the Great Lakes region for 2017 is underway. Brian Hollowell is our home plate umpire. Nick Boylan at first. Andrew Kelly second. Jake Ballard at third. They are all volunteer umpires. Count even, a ball and a strike. Ken Coomer is the manager of this Ohio team. Tim Nichting will be the third base coach. Actually, Coomer third. Coomer will be at first, and Nichting will be a third. And Tracy Avery serves as the bench coach. Toward left field, base hit, good start. And you can almost interchange the manager and Nichting, because they have switched positions over the years. And Nichting himself has been in the World Series in 07 and 09, and a good bit of hitting by Braden Moore to get it started.
Yeah, you were talking about experience. Well, maybe not experience with these kids out here, but these 2 coaches, in Ken Coomer and Tim Nichting, they went to the Little League World Series in 2007 and 2010.
Ball dropped out in front, runner down to second, no problem. So now Kate Polito will have a chance. If possible, she can move the runner over to third with a sacrifice.
Going on to say, Tim Nichting's been there 4 times. He actually went there in 1991 and 93 with his dad, Ray. So a lot of experience, not only here in the regionals, but in the Little League World Series.
We know, John, when the former manager knows you by name and by face, that means he's been here a few times. Polito, ball on the strike. Kate's got a lot of good speed. And 2 years ago was part of a special team here in Ohio, and a base hit center field. Runner around third will score, and Ohio strikes first, 1-0.
Well, a really good piece of hitting that time by Kate Polito. They said she's a gamer. Both of the girls on this squad, they'll take them in any lineup. You could see her line that into right center field. Real quick hands, not a big extension. She keeps them in on the body, but boy, she can let it go quickly.
That brings up the catcher, the number 3 hitter in the Ohio lineup for Ken Coomer and Blake Detheridge. Real character on this team. It just loves the big moment. And I would say getting to Indianapolis is a big moment. We have played 2 games in the Midwest region earlier today. Nebraska won its game 3-2. And in the second game, the Dakotas win 9-0. Wave and a miss by Detheridge, who's behind a ball and 2 strikes.
Detheridge looking down at his third base coach down there, Tim Nichting, that time. And Nichting's saying, get the ball down. Don't be too aggressive, swinging at that high pitch around the eyes.
And this kid can hit the ball a mile, and he goes the opposite way. Base hit. They're on the corners with nobody out, and Ohio's really brought its hitting sticks to the ballpark. That's 3 sharply hit balls off the first 3 hitters.
Again, not doing too much with it this time as Detheridge just delivers this out into right field. And how about this base running by Polito? They said she's got some speed. She made that decision on herself that she was going to third there and makes it in easily.
No, it's funny. We talked to Jeremy Jersley, the manager of Wisconsin. He said, we're going to be aggressive today, but Ohio equally is aggressive already. So Lake Cundiff checks in. He is the starting pitcher today for Ohio, batting in the cleanup spot. Chance to clean up the runner at third. And they have come up being very aggressive at the plate. Davis Avery, the second baseman, will follow. Two strikes. Our first game today, well-played defensive game after the first inning in particular. The second game featured a lot of walks and errors and was one-sided. And our start to the third game features some sharply hit balls. 2-strike pitch. 1 out. Comes the second baseman, batting in a 5-hole, Davis Avery. And the first out of the game recorded by starting pitcher Blake Nichols.
Gets him on a breaking ball there in the first out against this Ohio team. And I'll tell you, this Ohio team had a tough time getting here, having to beat Canfield. They beat them 5-4 and then 15-4. They outscored opponents 45-15. So look for this team to come to the plate and try to put a lot of runs up. And Canfield's coach said throughout this entire lineup for Westside is 1 through 13. They're all going to hit you guys off the bench, and they'll battle you with 2 strikes. They're not going to give up.
Ball and a strike here on Avery. Seems like every time Ohio is here, they've got some type of offensive punch. Usually not very quiet at the plate.
No, they're 4 games in the state tournament, 13 runs, 12 runs, 5 and 15.
Runners at first and third. 1-0 Ohio on the pitch. Away from the catcher. Runner trying to score, safe. Kate Polito slides in with a second run. It's 2-0 Ohio. And on the pitch that got away, Blake Detheridge on the second.
It told us Polito had some speed. We saw it when she rounded second and took third. All her decision on that ball that was hit to right, and that time quickly makes a decision and scores with the pass ball with a wild pitch.
In the meantime, John, the count is 2-1 on Avery. Still just 1 out in the inning. Indiana and Kentucky, border war later tonight. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. never a boring rivalry in anything.
No, and we always get a great crowd for that first game here on Sunday night.
On the 2-2. Well, Tim Nichting can still move at third base.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him tomorrow. A few years ago, and he got out of the way of that one. he's the one that brought up going to the World Series back in '91, '93, and said, "I'm an old guy." Well, you think he'd have got out of the way in '91?
He and Cooper have been together in the World Series runs in 07 and 09. There's a strikeout. Runner held up and is going to actually get to third base. Deathridge did a nice job of trying to fake out catcher R.J. Stroming. And instead of going back to second base, runs all the way to third.
I got the feeling he almost wanted to go back to second the way Coach Nichting was looking at him. He got caught up in that situation. It's a good thing he reached there safely.
Slow roller to first base. And out. Just in time, Brant Rice to beat the hitter J.C. Taylor. But Ohio puts together 3 hits for 2 runs and leads after a half inning over Wisconsin 2-0. Two runs and 3 hits for Ohio on the top of the first of this game. And now it's Wisconsin's turn to try to answer. Blake Cundiff taking his warm-up tosses right now. And for Cundiff, one of the stronger pitchers on this team, he can strike it up to 70 miles per hour if possible or if necessary. And let's introduce the Wausau, Wisconsin batting order to you. Keegan Jersley will lead off. That's the manager's son. Landon Parlier will bat second. Blake Nichols will hit in the third spot. Then Brant Rice, the cleanup hitter. Jesse Osnes, Eli Gustafson bats sixth. Roger Stroming seventh. Lucas Hager eighth. And Turner Olson, the center fielder, and one of 2 left-handers in the lineup, will bat ninth. Well, Keegan's grandfather is Mike Jersley. He's a third base coach for the Kansas City Royals, who are playing a doubleheader against Seattle today, trailing 7-5 in the first of 2 there. But Mike's trying to keep tabs of this one.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd like to say hello to him from Two Royals Stadium right now, where the first of 2 are going on with the Mariners.
Yeah, Jeremy's like, you got that app? You know how to work that app? He's a little busy right now.
Yeah. There's Keegan Jersley. He's been around baseball since the day he was born. He was born in 2006. And his dad and third base coach Jeremy was still in professional baseball in 2005. They're all part of the Royals' experience on the way to a world championship just a few years ago. So suffice to say, Keegan knows baseball and has a good baseball IQ as a result of his closeness to the game.
Yeah, you know, you don't hear it as much on the baseball side, but it's so true. When you have a father or a grandfather that have been at high levels, you got that high IQ. You typically hear that about a quarterback. You know, his dad was a coach type thing. Well, you get that same baseball IQ, guys that just know what to expect and anticipate, and this is one of those kids that can do that.
Right now, ahead on the countdown, 2-1 as he steps out for a second. Waves the bat and awaits the pitch, and now count is even 2-2. Each batter is required to keep a foot in that batter's box. On the 2-2 towards center field. Not a problem for Clint Moak, 1 out. Now to bring up Landon Parlier. The foot in the batter's box rule this year. After entering the box, you must remain in the box, and we'll get back to it in a moment.
Here's a good look there. You can see that right foot. Want to take a couple warm-up swings here. got to take a half cut because that foot has to be in there. It really is going to save time. They want you in there, so the pitcher's normally ready to go. Watch how quick Cundiff is ready to work out on the mound, and they want hitters ready to go.
Yeah, so they get a chance to step out of the box. A ball and a strike with an out. And now 1-2. Back to the graphic to explain exactly what the foot in the box is all about. After entering the box, the batter must remain in the box with at least 1 foot throughout their at bat. After one warning on the batter, the umpire calls a strike. No pitch has to be thrown. Ball is dead. No runners can advance. So I thought in the case of Jerschley, he was out of the box a couple times.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. The umpire didn't say anything to him, and may have given him a little warning. I don't know. We couldn't see anything.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Full count on Parlier.
You mentioned Cundiff's strength on the mound. There's a good look at him. He's kind of built like a little football player. He's got that real strong looking neck.
Base hit center field off the fastball and all the way to the wall. Parlier around first, into second, stand up double. Well, this kid's getting off a foot fracture. He looks pretty healthy out there to me.
Yeah. Nice stride, and you can see good quick bat through the zone again. Not trying to pull the ball, and he drives that and gets it by Moles out there in center field. Easy double for Parlier.
Here comes the pitcher for Wisconsin, Blake Nichols. Ball gets away from the catcher, and on the third base goes Parlier. So Wisconsin trying to answer Ohio's 2-run first with some scoring of its own. And it's 2-1. So right now, Hamilton, Ohio having a few problems that have led to the first run as Parlier with good heads-up base running, able to come home. Started that rally with just a hit, then moved around the bases.
Looked like just a high fastball, and really wasn't even that high. Deathridge just not able to come up with it, and the ball gets to the backstop and get a run on the board.
So it is now 2-1, John, in favor of Hamilton, Ohio. Blake Nichols at the plate, and he has a ball and 2 strikes with 1 out in the first. Pops it up. Short and second convene. It'll be Avery to handle the 2 outs. So after the put out by Davis Avery, Brant Rice will step to the plate. He is the cleanup hitter in the Wisconsin lineup. Jeremy Jerschley is the third base coach. Matt Hager coaches at first. Chris Gustafson is the bench coach for Wisconsin. Strike 1.
Rice in the cleanup spot. He's a kid that leads this team, has 6 home runs and 19 RBI. So number 4 hitter, that's what you want out of him. A power guy, big kid at the plate.
And with that power to all fields, he can also clear the fence too. But in our 2+ games, we haven't seen that happen yet.
Have not seen a ball out of the park.
And the wind for a while was blowing out. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jesse Osnes, the second baseman, would bat next. Inning over on a strikeout by Rice, but Wisconsin answers with a run and a hit and leaves nobody. Ohio 2, Wisconsin 1. Bottom of the order for Hamilton in the second. We're back to work. Top of the second inning. Ohio 2, Wisconsin 1. John Gregory with Jim Barber and our terrific ESPN crew on hand for a whole lot of baseball from Sunday all the way through Saturday afternoon and evening. Hamilton, Ohio has been to the Little League World Series on 4 occasions, starting in 1991 And while you might say, well, the record's not very impressive, consider the fact that this program's won at least one game in all 4 years. That's not an easy feat in Williamsport.
No. How about impressive 17th 12-year-old championship and 10th in the last 12 years.
Wow.
For Westside.
Casey Parsons is the first baseman for Ohio, batting in the 7th position, set to lead off the 2nd. For Hamilton, then it's Nick Brocious and Clint Moak. Good curveball and the breaking ball evens the count of a ball and a strike.
You know, those numbers are even more impressive because you think about the state of Ohio and all the big cities, kids they can pull from. We have the Midwest region as well here, and you have South Dakota and Kansas where, you know, they're trying to put teams together. South Dakota's team, Sioux Falls, out of the Midwest region, this is their first time having Little League. So
yes.
For Hamilton to be able to have that much success in a state like Ohio that has great baseball is really, really impressive.
Yeah, great sports in general. All in the shadows of the Ohio State University.
Ken Comer, that's the first base coach and the head coach this year. Both him and Tim Nichting this year switching it off. Last year was the same coaches, but Tim was the manager and Ken was the assistant.
Both with great experience, know a whole lot of baseball, and more than happy to talk it over with you when you chat with them. The count is 3-2 in the leadoff hitter in the 2nd. And on board is Casey Parsons on the leadoff walk. Nick Brocious, third baseman, steps to the plate, batting in the 8th spot.
One more thing about Tim down at the third base coaching box. His son played on that 2007 team that went to the World Series, and he was a 9th round pick to the Baltimore Orioles. He's playing in the New York Penn League now in Aberdeen, Maryland.
Yep.
So kids that have success here a lot of times go to the World Series, and then you'll see them up and they'll get signed and have a chance. Not all of them make it to the big leagues, but a lot of them get an opportunity to play college and pro baseball.
Yeah, he's in that center field spot right now. A lot of conversation about the Orioles making trades around the deadline because they're in that very competitive AL East and not likely to win it or make the playoffs. Count 1-1 on Brocious with a man aboard, nobody out. Trying to shoot one the opposite way, a ball and 2 strikes. Indiana and Kentucky to follow at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Nichols to the plate. Strike called. 1 out in the inning, 3rd strikeout for Nichols.
Mentioned 11-year-old at the plate that time. He looked like a little cutter kind of breaking ball inside half of the plate, or inside corner I should say, and gets the strikeout.
Number 9 hitter is Clint Moak. Braden Moore will bat next. Ohio started this game with consecutive hits by Moore, Polito, and Deathridge, which resulted in 2 runs. Waves at a high pitch, a high fastball, count 1-2. And Nichols to reach his 35th pitch in a moment. Game of strategy from the managers, how long to go with a starter. Games are competitive. Typically, they want to go as long as possible. RJ Storming behind home plate, catching for Wisconsin. This is a 2-2 pitch from Nichols. And another full count. saw a bevy of full counts in that second game earlier today when the Dakotas were beneficiaries of 10 Kansas walks. Won easily 9-0. 3-2 pitch.
Not today. We saw a lot of jitters from the pitchers in the first 2 ball games. At least 3 of the teams, and nothing like that today. Guys coming out throwing strikes and guys taking hacks at the plate.
Inside pitch, ball 4. 2 walks now in the inning. And runners at first and second. We turn the lineup over back to Braden Moore. Well, we've heard the term before, 5-tool, as there'll be a discussion at the mound for Wisconsin. And that 5-tool guy is Braden Moore, who will step in here momentarily. Right now having a conversation with Tim Nichting, best overall player on this team. He has what they call a quick twitch. What's that mean?
Yeah, just the ability. Guys that can, real fast hands, guys that can run really well. Not your distance guy. I'm more of a slow twitch guy.
Oh, okay.
I can run a mile, but I can't run fast.
Well, thanks for making the.
But he's got 5 tools. He can probably run distance and run fast.
Yeah. Thanks for making the distinction, nonetheless.
I was like 1.5 tools.
You're a toolbox short, huh?
Yeah.
Looks like manager Jeremy Jerschley for Wisconsin is going to make a change. We mentioned that Nichols had reached 35, and so looks like Lyndon Parlier will come on to throw. When you throw more than 35 pitches, it leads you to 2 days rest. So he only reached the 35 limit, and that means he can come back after a 1-day rest. If you throw between 1 and 20 pitches, you can come back the next day. So manager Jerschley has decided that let's see if we can hang on to Nichols and get him back after a 24-hour rest and bring on Parlier, who moves from his third base spot. And Nichols, in the meantime, moves over to third. Braden Moore started this game with a base hit to left and later scored on a wild pitch. 2-1 Ohio. And we're in the top of the second. Base hit center field. A runner around third. Will they send him? Yes. Skips past the center fielder. It'll score 1. Now it'll score 2. 4-1 Ohio. And the 5-tool kid comes through again.
Well, add another tool on there, and that other tool is experience, and he was the only kid that was here last year too, so valuable experience he gained being here last year as he see him get the base hit up the middle and misplayed in center field allows 2 more runs to score.
Be a hit in the air, and now the ball away from the catcher, and it's 5-1. So Ohio's come out pounding Wisconsin with 3 in this inning to push the lead to 4. Well, top of the order with some help from the bottom half has been lethal so far. Kate Polito, who had a single and an RBI, back for her second at bat in 2 innings. So the bases are cleared now, but Ohio has plated all 3 that have reached base. Good breaking ball for a strike. 2-1. Now the count reaches 3-1. Blake Deathridge, who singled in first, would bat next. Ohio sent 6 to the plate in the first inning. Already 5 in this inning. Polito hits it hard and deep. It's a gapper to the wall. She's around first in the second stand-up double. Boy, these bats are hot in the first 2 innings.
They are. She is in one of those grooves right now that they said that she is really good in the States, and it's continued on here in the regional. She gets a pitch up. That time, first at bat, she took it to right center field. This time she turns on it, gets a little bit of more extension, and I thought that was our first opportunity to see one go out of the park.
Yeah, I agree. It had that feel. This one in the dirt. She goes down to third and is saved. Polito hustling once again, slides into third base. So another runner just a few feet away from another run.
Got to say it, how impressive she is on the bases. They said she's got great speed. We saw it her first time on the bases, and there's another great example of taking advantage of some speed.
You know, Wisconsin comes in with not having ever made it to Williamsport, and they're facing an Ohio team that's acting like it's been here from day one over the last 10 years. And it almost feels like every year you see a team from Hamilton, Ohio, particularly if Nick Teen and Coomer are part of it. Infield playing in, trying to cut the runner down from third base as the count moves to 2-1.
Well, interesting for this Wisconsin team, Jim, is, you know, they got off to a shaky start in their state tournament. They lost their first 2 by a combined score of 33-5. Then they ran off, then they ran off 5 straight wins to get here. So it's a team that's battled back.
And they're in a battle back mode right now, already down 5-1. Strike call, 3-2. Blake Cundiff, the pitcher, the cleanup hitter, bats next. Runner third, everybody in at their infield position defensively for Wisconsin. And on the missed third strike, the throw to first is in time. Although the general feeling was that Rice, the first baseman, bobbled the throw. Thought the call was out. The runner remains at first. Of course, they could offer a challenge here, and I think that's what's going to happen. Run did score, by the way, so it's 6-1. Now, even before that happens, all the umpires are going to confer. Nick Boylan made the initial call. And so the proper call is the reversal before we even get to replay, because the ball was bobbled at first. And Deathridge was able to get there as that bobble was occurring.
First base umpire Nick Boylan that time didn't actually see it. He was blocked, and he didn't see the bobble. He quickly made the call and looked down, and you could see the first base coach there, Ken Comer, immediately went to him, and they didn't even have to go to replay. He just got help from the other umpires.
6-1 now, and the inning rolls on. Ball again gets away, runner easily into second base. So despite the fact that there have been 2 strikeouts in the inning because of the dropped third strike or the missed third strike, there still is just 1 out. Blake Cundiff, 7th hitter in the lineup to bat in the inning. You watch Ohio in the first 2 innings, John, you almost get the feel that, hey, they want to put this away by the 4th when the 10-run rule kicks in.
Yeah, the one thing about this team, and we see it year in, year out, is how aggressive they are on the base path. You know, that's one thing Wisconsin said that they were going to be today. They were going to take some opportunities. Jeremy Jersley said that they'll do it with their team. Well, this Ohio team will put you in a predicament as well out there. Try to stress your defense as much as they can.
7 hitters to bat already. Davis Avery in the on-deck circle will be the 8th. That one again in the dirt and away from Stroming. RJ's had to do a lot of work behind home plate. As a runner, Blake Deathridge advances to third. Top of this Ohio lineup has scored 4 runs already in the 1 and 2 spots. Cundiff waiting a 2-2 pitch. Infield in once again. On the drop third, this time throw to first. Back to home plate, run scores. This time they're able to record it out, but Deathridge comes home with the 7th run, 5th in the inning.
And that's something that just doesn't happen right there. That's something that you work on. As a runner at third base, these coaches know that's really good coaching. You get the strikeout, something's in the dirt. You know the catcher's got to go down to first base, and Deathridge was running immediately because Stroming as a catcher, you have to take a peek down at third base just to hold that runner up. And really, really hard to do when you don't have that experience as a young catcher back there. Things happen so fast, but again, that's experience of being here before and knowing what to expect.
So unfortunately for Wisconsin, in the inning, they have recorded 3 strikeouts, yet the inning rolls on. This popped up on the infield edge and dropped by Rice. So now Ohio will have batted around as J.C. Taylor steps to the plate. Well, it's going to be up to Jeremy Jerschley, the manager of Wisconsin, to get his team regrouped when they come in at the end of this inning. Tim Nichting will have a conversation with our home plate umpire, Brian Hollowell.
Got 11 special running at first base. 11 special running at first base.
And right now,
11.
Ethan Mueller will, as
11.
you think have heard,
Okay.
will run at first base
Thank
with
you.
Davis Avery. Good opportunity for Hamilton, Ohio to go to the bench, and often at this point with a 6-run lead. Taylor grounded out unassisted to end the top of the first. We're just in the second right now.
Taking over at first base is a special pinch runner for Ohio, number 12, Jackson Martin.
Check that, Jackson Martin will be the runner. So Martin running for Davis Avery. J.C. Taylor, tough, scrappy player with some power. Behind 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning.
You could see her approach at the plate. She takes that right foot, her lead foot, and really turns it inside. I think part of that probably is to work on that right hip, make sure that you're not pulling that right hip out. She's got it all the way back. It actually faces the catcher. Watch that right foot as she digs in here. A little bit different approach, but maybe that's her mechanism to keep from pulling out.
Taylor out on strikes. Believe it or not, there were 4 strikeouts in the inning. But top hitter, the leadoff hitter, Braden Moore, led the charge. He's got 2 hits already, has scored twice. It is 7-1 Ohio over Wisconsin. Beginning in January, Little League will join other youth baseball organizations in adopting USA Baseball's new USA Bat Standard. For more info on how this new youth standard will impact Little League, visit littleleague.org/bat info. Jesse Osnes will lead off the blast of the second. Wisconsin's got lots of work to do right now, trailing 7-1. Well, the changes in the bat over the years certainly led to a lot of conversation, Little League. And there don't seem to be a whole lot of objections to it.
Yeah, always looking for safety in different things, and bat performance is certainly a factor.
Osnes, Eli Gustafson, R.J. Stroming will bat in this inning. Seen the bats change in the college game, I think, for the better.
Yeah, I think that game's got it right about now.
The general fear was, well, you're taking the home run away from the game. And certainly the numbers did decrease, but the home run didn't go to the way of the dinosaur either.
No, but you know, when the bat, and it did take it away for a while, and then they made the other change, lower the seams on the baseball. They didn't change the bats, they changed the ball a little bit, and that seemed to help everything out.
What's the theory in Major League Baseball this year because of all the home runs early in the year that
yeah,
something interesting is happening with the ball?
Maybe they lowered the seams on that, but public's perception really should be that, you know, for little leaguers or whatever, is they should be using wooden bats, but that's where they're trying to get a reaction off of it like it is wood.
Over to short, 1 out. Good play by Braden Moore. That'll bring up Eli Gustafson. And now we'll have some changes. And why not with Ohio with a 7-1 lead?
You get that type of a lead, up by 6. Cundiff on the mound just went over his 20th pitch, but he started that hitter prior to reaching that 20 mark, so he's going to get out and take one day rest.
All right, we'll talk about Davis Avery, who's on the mound in a moment. Right-handed pitcher Davis Avery, who's considered to be the third pitcher on Ken Coomer's team, is now replacing Lake Cundiff, who leaves not having to worry about resting a day because he was under the 20 pitch limit. And so Ohio gambling on the fact that they'll hold this lead. Goes with a new pitcher and Eli Gustafson to the plate. So how about this? You have a 6-run lead. You've been running the bases like crazy so far to get to that point. Is that a good move by Coomer?
Absolutely good move. You're up by 6 here. I think you get the guy that you like, your starter out there, get him out of the ball game.
This one hit deep and carrying and gone. Eli Gustafson goes the other way, and Wisconsin has its 2nd run of the game.
So what I was saying was probably not the best move you could make.
Right.
As he's greeted with a home run there, and good thing for this Wisconsin team. We mentioned how they battled back after a slow start at States. They're not going to give up. They had a long meeting in between the innings. The coach got the team together, and they'll keep battling you.
Well, the manager and also the third base coach, Jeremy Jerschley, we mentioned earlier his dad, Mike, is a base coach of the Kansas City Royals, and the Royals' run to the World Series included some improbable comebacks and some great drama. And so he kind of compares his team's run to that of the Royals, and he has used that as part of his motivation with the team. R.J. Stroming is the batter with a count of 0-2 with 1 out in the 2nd. The score is now 7-2 Ohio.
You know, when the coach makes a decision to take the guy out at 20 pitches, you know, the factor isn't just, hey, we're up by 6. The factor is, hey, we're still hitting the ball pretty good. We think we can throw some more runs on the board. And
sure.
If that's the case, then, you know, we can afford to give up a couple runs if we can continue to put more on the board. Now, that doesn't always happen, but that's exactly what Ken Comer's thinking to make that change.
Looks pretty relaxed over there. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Yeah, Stroming stays alive. Wildest comeback so far in the regionals happened in the Southwest last night in Waco, Texas, where Texas West led Texas East 7-0 and wound up losing that game in extra innings. In fact, it had a 2-run lead in the top of the 7th and lost that and the game. Stroming has gone from 2 strikes to full count. Lucas Hager would be next. And he swings at 1 out of the zone, and he knew it. 2 outs. Second strikeout for Ohio pitchers. That brings up Luke Hager. And Lucas behind the strike. That's a couple of pitches Wisconsin's missed badly on. So what are we seeing from the mound that's deceiving him? Talk about that as this grounded towards short, and the inning is over. Wisconsin gets one on a left center field homer by Eli Gustafson. So after 2 innings, it's Ohio 7 and Wisconsin 2. Might remember this kid when he played Little League. He was pretty good over in Jersey for Tom's River American Little League. Went on to the Cincinnati Reds and now a member of the New York Yankees, who had the distinction, a most bizarre one at that, of in his first at bat with the Yanks hit into a triple play, in which in that triple play a run scored.
Explain that one to me.
Yeah. Well, there was a rundown on the play.
Oh, he crossed before the third out, or
Yep, sure did.
second out?
Yep.
What's the rule? He crossed before.
As long as it's before the third out, the
Yeah.
run counts.
Yeah.
So a very unconventional play, which actually there was a double play. The runner was scoring and the other runner got cut down. So that one is sky toward left field, and that's hit a bunch. Casey Parsons gets that run back for Hamilton, Ohio, on a rocket. And the beauty of Little League is that every home run is treated like a walk-off. All the kids can come celebrate. 8-2 Ohio.
They call him Big Country, and you can see why. Big Country gets a hold of this one, and this is the first ball that he delivers out of the ballpark, and Big Country delivers it. 2 hits in the championship game, and he stays hot at the plate as he delivers another run for West Side Little League.
Well, that's kind of a rude beginning for Lucas Hager, isn't it?
Sure is.
In the meantime, Jared Halupnik will step to the plate as a pinch hitter for Nick Brocious. No balls, 2 strikes, and Ohio back up by 6. When I asked you about Coomer making a decision to change pitchers, I think your response was they must feel like, hey, we can get some more runs. Throw down to first is not in time. So twice today there's been a drop third strike, resulting in a base runner without an out. But anyway, back to my point, Coomer, and you felt that Coomer felt that, hey, we're swinging the bat so well, it's not going to matter. And immediately they get that run back quickly.
Yeah, make the change on the mound.
I got 12 batting for 3. Right,
Jackson
12
Martin
batting
is going to
for
step
3.
in the plate.
And I'll just tell you, I got 14 re-entering right now. Yes.
And Nick Brocious will re-enter the game for Halupnik at first. Halupnik, excuse me. So in the first, Ohio sent 6 to the plate. In the second, 9 batting around. And now here in the third, this is the third hitter with nobody out. Indiana and Kentucky will follow in 2 hours. Kentucky's been no stranger to this tournament over the last few years either. Speaking of experience like Ohio, 2-0 pitch is swung on toward right field. In play for Olson. Has to go back and get it, 1 out.
Now they just continue to swing the bat and put pressure on you defensively. They get a guy on somehow, some way. They're going to try to move them along, and they've got the power to be able to put big numbers up, crooked numbers, if you give them the free passes.
We're asking Ken Coomer and Tim Nichting of the Ohio coaching staff about Braden Moore. And can you project 5 to 10 years down the line what his potential might be to make it to the majors? He said, you know what? I think he's going to get a look because of the fact he's just got these ridiculous hands. And it's continued to be what is a 5-tool guy, which means you have all the skills to play at the next level. Now, obviously, 5-tool descriptions have not always worked out as expected. But nonetheless, that's quite flattering to mention somebody around the age of 12 or 13 having that ability.
Yeah, and they said, and the reason why is because the ability to work with those hands. You know, he'll be an infielder. That's where they describe seeing him in the future. And we saw Frazier a little bit earlier when we came back from the commercial break. You know, it's very doable to make it to the big leagues.
Yep.
Wouldn't surprise me over the past few years. We've seen some very talented kids here that are going to have their opportunity. Seen him play in college baseball.
You and I were witness to Kyle Schwarber's last game at Indiana University.
Yep.
About an hour away from here, hour and a half. Schwarber went on to a World Series championship and struggled this year, though, hitting under 200.
Yeah, he had some pop in that bat at Indiana.
Oh, yeah. And Moore waves a one outside of the zone. 2 outs. Well, for the record, that's the 7th strikeout by Wisconsin pitchers, and yet they trail in the game by 6. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, you see, this time you get the breaking ball, and the catcher's able to hold on to it. Twice, 2 times at least, we've seen the 3rd strike with the runner reaching first base.
Kate Polito is 2 for 2 in the game, has scored twice, has a run batted in. Doubled her last at bat in the 2nd. Many of these Ohio hitters have good eyes at the plate too. They can
Patience.
work a count.
Yeah. I think that's something Braden Moore didn't have that time at the plate. He wanted to make something happen and was a little aggressive up there. And we see Kate's at bat a little bit different, more patience, and she's already delivered a couple hits.
Davis Avery tries to get that win on the outside corner, but the count runs to 3-1. 2 outs in the inning, a runner at first base. Already a run in. Wisconsin will send up the 9th batter in its order in the bottom of the 3rd, then back to the top.
A little bit different approach this time to Kate Polito at the plate. They weren't able to get her out on the fastball. Now they're throwing her breaking balls.
And that patient eye results in ball 4. She has reached base now 3 consecutive times. It'll bring up Blake Detheridge, who has singled and reached base on a called 3rd strike. Or a drop 3rd strike, to be correct. Detheridge towards center field. Drops in for a hit. Runner around 3rd, headed to home plate, will score. And on the overthrow, runners advance to 2nd and 3rd. 9-2 Ohio. Blake Detheridge, 2nd hit of the game. So Brochus comes around to score, and on the hit and overthrow, Polito to 3rd, Detheridge to 2nd.
Off the end of the bat, but good enough to fall in there and drive in another run. And now they get 2 more runners in scoring position as they're able to go up on the overthrow.
Blake Cundiff, who started the game on the mound, has been replaced to preserve his position in terms of when he come back. Waves a one outside the zone, 2 strikes. Ohio has scored in every inning, 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and 2 in the third. Towards short, 1 hop, long throw to first, and the inning is over. Good play by Keegan Jerschley, but Ohio now expands the lead to its largest. After 2.5, Ohio 9, Wisconsin 2. Time for a little history perspective on Wausau, Wisconsin. Population, a shade over 39,000, located 95 miles northeast of Green Bay, and the famous face, Jim Otto, NFL Hall of Fame center, 15 years with the Raiders of Oakland. Played from the years 1960 to 1974 and played in 217 games. Turner Olson leads off for Wisconsin in the bottom of the third. Work to be done, trailing by 7. And in this kind of situation, when you have such a huge deficit, base runners are at a premium any way you can get on. Wisconsin has 2 hits in the game. That includes a home run. And Olson is up on the count, 2 balls. Davis Avery, the right-hander, in his second inning of work. Little blooper towards center field. Second base and short collide, ball dropped. Runner headed towards second. He is out. Ohio recovers well. Olson cut down at second. Everybody appears to be okay, as Brocious and Moore collided, and that eventually led to the ball being dislodged. But then, good recovery, and Olson cut down trying to stretch to second base.
Well described, Jim Brocious going back here. I didn't think he had a chance to make the play. He reaches up, gets a glove on it, would have come down with it, but Moore was underneath him. Heads up play by Avery to get to second base, and they may take a look at this. It looked like Avery's glove, when he caught the bag, may have laid it on the top of the bag, and Olson slid in, and his foot may have gotten in there before the tag came over to it. So we'll take a look at it and see.
Looks like they scored an error first in the game for Ohio, which allowed Olson to get on. Then Turner tried to stretch it to second base, was ruled out, and now replay will either confirm or overrule the call.
Well, that's a tough error. Watch his glove. He takes it and he lays it on the top of the bag. He didn't know exact, kind of like covering the plate. You got to get there and make sure the tag's down in front of the bag. And does he miss it? I don't know. It's tough to see.
Andrew Kelly's the second base umpire in your picture.
Does he nick the glove? I don't know. The dirt was flying, tough to see.
Looks like third base umpire Jake Ballard may have been in on the play as well. In fact, Ballard is the man on the left who makes the call.
Nice job by the umpires rotating that time to go out. Second base umpire goes out to see it, and third base umpire comes over.
And confirmation. 1 out.
So they called that an error.
Yes.
Boy, that's a tough one there. Who do you give that on the second baseman when the shortstop ran underneath him? That's a hard error.
This one toward right center field and hit deep. And gone. Keegan Jerschley, the leadoff hitter for Wausau. Wisconsin now scored in each of the 3 innings. And that makes it a 9-3 score in favor of Ohio.
Yeah, well, Wisconsin is still battling at the plate. As he lifts this one out to right center field. The wind now has shifted a little bit, kind of blowing toward left field. Earlier today we were seeing it out to right center, and that ball wasn't helped necessarily by the wind, just hit pretty well.
This one toward center field, base hit. Landon Parlier has 2 hits now, and the inning continues. with a man out in the third. So Wisconsin showing some bat prowess as well. And Blake Nichols hitting in the 3-hole comes to the plate. Well, not an impossible deficit. Certainly it's 6 runs down. Each little league game is 6 innings in its length, so got to make it up rather quickly, but there's still some time. Two teams have combined for 12 runs and 11 hits so far. Count is 2 balls, no strike on Blake Nichols. 1 out here in the third. Comebacker headed to center field, base hit. Runners down first and second, and they're starting to figure out Davis Avery, as that's the 3rd hit of the inning. So with runners at first and second, scheduled hitter is the first baseman Brent Rice. Rice, who has power to all fields, has the ability to knock it out. We're starting to see a little bit more of that home run ability we didn't see in the first 2 games, John. As Wisconsin has knocked 2 out, Ohio has hit 1.
Ball is starting to get out of here.
Towards second base on 2 hops. They'll get the force out. It makes it runners down first and third with 2 outs. So Parlier moves on to third. Nichols is eliminated on the base path, and Rice on the fielder's choice is at first. Jesse Osnes now in an RBI situation with 2 outs in the last of the third. Looking into Ohio and the 4th, Avery, Taylor, Parsons. 5, 6, and 7 are the scheduled batters. Slow roller toward third base. Good play by Mueller, inning over. Wisconsin gets 1 on the bat of Keegan Jerschley. It is 9-3 in favor of Ohio, halfway home in game number 3.
There's nothing better. I want summer forever.
Welcome back to a hitter's paradise. Each team has scored in every inning. Kate Polito's had a big bat with an RBI and a couple of hits. Brayton Moore in this game has already scored twice. Wisconsin's got a little pop to its bat too. That's Eli Gustafson going the opposite way in the second. In the top of the third, more Ohio fireworks. This time off the bat of Big Country, Casey Parsons. And then in the bottom of the third, Keegan Jerschley got it back with a home run. It is 9-3 as we start to the 4th. Game 1 of the Great Lakes region. And the winner of this game will get Michigan tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. The loser will move on to Tuesday's elimination round. Toward the gap in left center field. And into second base comfortably is Davis Avery, his first hit of the game. And the hits for Ohio just keep on coming, John.
16 hits in the championship game in the state tournament. And as you said before, they keep coming here too. This team is hot at the plate coming into the tournament or this regional, and it's just continuing on for them.
Yeah, certainly not out of disrespect, but they almost look as if they're taking batting practice in this game. That's how good the bats are, how alive the bats are.
Well, the thing they're doing is they're going after the first pitch, and that they've been that way since this ball game started.
Ethan Mueller right now is batting in place of J.C. Taylor. Mueller's already been used as a pinch runner. Ethan, hard worker, the 4th pitcher on this staff who could see some action today, depending on how comfortable this lead is for Ohio in the remaining 3 innings if we last that long. Ball gets away from Stroming. Runner advances to 3rd, and on the walk on to first base goes Mueller. So it's 1st and 3rd, nobody out here to start the 4th. And keep in mind the 10-run rule starts to crowd around this stadium a bit, because should Ohio score 3 or more, check that 4 or more in the inning, and there are ways from doing that, but if that should happen and then hold Wisconsin to scoreless in the bottom of the inning, the game is over. Here's Casey Parsons, who has walked and scored and homered. Get the feel that Ohio's had people on base since they got off the bus here.
Yeah. And Casey Parsons, big country, likes to see those guys out there on the guys and girls on the bases for this Ohio team.
In every inning, Ohio's had its leadoff hitter aboard. Started the game with back-to-back hits for 2 runs and hasn't stopped hitting the ball. On the 2-0, that pitch misses outside, 3-0. Nick Brocious, who re-entered the game in the 3rd, is set to bat next. Again, everybody must play, bat, and field in the Little League World Series. 3-1. And the bases are loaded. Tim Nichting will now make a change, and there'll be a conversation as manager Jeremy Jerschley for Wisconsin will come to the mound. This game already an hour and 15 minutes in length. Jared Halupnik will pinch hit when play resumes, batting for Brocious. Actually, Halupnik has already hit, so this will be the 2nd time he would bat. I should be able to read my writing better than that. I've got it in ink today.
Hey, listen, all the changes that go on in Little League,
There are a bunch, aren't
and
there?
you're doing it in pen too.
Yeah.
Should be in pencil.
Taking a chance here. I ran out of my pencil, though. I sharpened 6 of them before I came here, but 6 is not enough.
Yeah, I use the old trusty iPad, and when I mess it up, then I'm in real big trouble. I'm looking over it like I'm cheating off of your. Feel like I'm in class cheating off of you, and that's not right.
Well, good luck on that, John.
I don't.
Kagan Jerschley will come in the game. Little League would like to thank the dedicated volunteers who make this program a special experience for millions of children. That, of course, includes the umpires today, are all part of that volunteer system. Lots of workers that are here at Grand Park. Had a chance to talk with some of the maintenance folks earlier in the week as they were getting the scaffold ready behind home plate for ESPN.
How about the job they did putting this thing together?
Yeah. It's got a hairpin turn walking up here. But as long as you're paying attention,
Yeah.
that's safe as expected.
They put this place together like a PGA Tour event. They
Yes.
can build the stands. If you build it, they will come. And both sides of the stands here full of fans.
Been that way for the first 2 games, and You mentioned earlier it'll be that way for Indiana and Kentucky
Yeah.
in another hour and a half.
There's a good look right there. A good contingent of Ohio fans. There we are up in the press box that they've put together for us. And
J.C. Taylor becomes a special runner at second base for Ohio. The bases are loaded. There's nobody out. Keegan Jersley is on relief. And will face Jared Halupnik.
And some of the people decided, you know what? I don't want to sit in the stands. I've got my own seat, and I'm going to put it down the right field line. And that's a bunch of Ohio fans gathered down the right field line watching this team.
Now, if you remember at the old ballpark, I say old,
Yeah.
the one that we've been at over past years on the northeast side of Indianapolis, the outfield position's been a very attractive one for fans.
Yeah, they had a hill out there where people could sit, and they enjoyed sitting out there and catching some home run balls.
Parlier moves to short, Nichols to third. A couple of other changes we'll tell you about in a moment. In the meantime, Halupnik up with the bases loaded. Nobody out. Strike called. It's an outfield now of Hager, Gustafson, and Olson. Third to first, Nichols, Parlier, Osnes, and Rice. Jersley, Stroming. This one headed to right field. Great play by the second baseman in the throw. Safe. It'll be a base hit for Halupnik. Terrific play by Osnes to keep that from going to the outfield. But everybody advances. It is now 10-3 Ohio.
Well, this was a good play here. He had to go a long way to get this, and another bang bang play over at first base. They're going to talk with the umpire here. We're probably going to have another review. Well, we have seen some close plays on these bags, and these umpires, as you mentioned before, volunteers, but they're getting tested today.
Yeah, their work gets to be verified or validated because of the use of instant replay, which, as you know, has been a staple of Major League Baseball now for a while. And if, in fact, there is a challenge, the thing that's in question right now is the runner safe at first base? That's a terrific play by the second baseman, Jesse Osnes, who kept this from going to right field and then able to pivot and fire over to first. I think he's going to stay safe.
That's about as close as you can get.
If the call is confirmed, the bases will continue to be loaded with nobody out.
Here's the decision.
So Ohio's inning continues with nobody gone. And Logan Bell, good line drive hitter, getting his first chance to hit, batting in the ninth spot. Ohio 10-3 and threatening the 10-run rule here in the fourth. And that hit him, and that'll score another run. So Bell gets one pitch and gets an RBI. And the bases remain loaded.
And the top of the lineup for this Ohio team. Let's see if Braden Moore, the guy with experience from last year, he was a little aggressive at the plate last time. Let's see if he's more patient and finds the pitch that he likes to be able to drive.
If Ohio gets a 10-run lead at the end of this inning or better, the game is over. Moore's been retired just once on strikeouts, and that's when he swung out of the zone. One team in a lead of 10 or more after the fourth inning, or 3.5 if the home team is ahead, which does not apply here. The game will be over. If the home team is behind by 10, it will complete this half of the inning batting. But right now, Ohio's looking for John the knockout punch. 2 in the first, 5 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Moore has batted in each of the 4 innings. Good save by R.J. Stroming. Count 1-2. It's like a video game for Ohio. They just keep moving from spot to spot, station to station.
They are.
2-2. That one behind Stroming. Runner headed to home plate. 12-3, and the runners advance to second and third. In the meantime, the count has reached 3-2 on Moore. So Lupnick down to third, Logan Bell to second. Still nobody out. Full count pitch coming to Moore. On the change, lost him. And the bases are loaded once again. Talk about the hitting of Ohio, which has been apparent, but they got a pretty good eye on 3-2 counts.
Yeah, when they need to be patient at the plate, they're either good, they've got plenty of patience, or they battle you with 2 strikes, and then they finally get the count back in their favor.
Cade Polito swings at this one, and it's fouled. Strike 1. 5 walks in this game for Ohio hitters, who also have 9 hits and a couple of Wisconsin errors. Cade Polito is perfect. 2 for 2, 2 runs scored, and a run batted in. That one away from Stroming, and a wild pitch. Runner headed home, scores. And runners advance to second and third. So Lupnick comes on home. Bell moves to third. Braden Moore to second. 10-run lead now for Ohio. And the wheels are coming off right now for Wisconsin.
Got to keep it together here. Keep in mind, you want to try to get out of this inning as much as you can. You don't want to have to go through your pitching staff, because you still got to get this team out. So it's important to try to get outs here, and regardless of what happens in this ball game.
Count is 2-1 on Miss Polito. Good line drive hitter. We've already seen that apparent. Also got some speed. Cade awaits the pitch. It's a change. It's 3-1. Cade Polito, the 7th at bat in the inning. Going the opposite field. Foul. Not by much, though.
Just foul.
She runs back to home plate and ready to take a full count pitch. What's that time-worn cliche? Game of inches?
Yeah.
Slow roller toward third base. Wisconsin gets the out. Polito gets the RBI, her second of the game, and Ohio expands its lead.
Well, she doesn't get the hit in the gap like she has her first couple times at the bat, but she puts it in play again and gets another run on the board for Ohio.
And the first out of the inning. Braden Moore now is over at third as the base runner. Blake Detheridge to the plate in the first, got a base hit. In the second, reached on a dropped third strike and scored. In the third, had an RBI hit and eventually advanced to third base on an error by the center fielder. 2-5, 2-5. That's been the scoring for Ohio in the first 4 innings. Not a bad day for baseball. Pleasant wind, good temperatures, around 70 degrees. Good save by Stroming. And really, the blast furnace has been turned off.
Yeah,
it was,
I was going to say, felt like the humidity's gone, huh?
high 80s, low 90s, humidity plenty over a couple of weeks ago. This one away from Stroming on the wild pitch, and the runner comes home. Deathridge on to first base. So Braden Moore scores. Deathridge on to first, and Lake Cundiff stepping to the plate. Still just one out in the inning. Ohio now with a 2-run cushion to end this game in the last of the fourth by way of the 10-run rule. And for the second time today, Hamilton, Ohio has batted around. Hit toward center field, Eli Gustafson. 2 outs. Davis Avery, who has come on in relief for Hamilton, now stepping to the plate. Got the orange bat. He comes the 10th man to bat in the inning. Toward Gustafson, and that's deep, and that is gone. Well, he can not only pitch, he can hit too. Avery in this inning, a double and a 2-run homer.
Yeah, that's a good day most times, never mind a good inning.
Yeah. Both the center field, by the way, 2 hits in the inning.
Well, after not seeing any home runs early in the Midwest region, the Great Lakes region has really turned it on with a power surge as we see another one go out of dead center field. And that's telling everybody I just hit a dinger.
Here's J.C. Taylor.
Take a look at me, right?
Yeah. Now why not?
Wow.
You know, in the majors, that's met with some grumbling and eventually a brushback, but not here, and it shouldn't be.
Now, and you see the emotion, college baseball, the College World Series and regionals, we get to see that and the emotion out there. Guys get hits, and you know what? Good for them.
Sure. NFL trying to bring some fun back to the game, but it's
what it is. It's a game.
Touchdown celebrations, absolutely. Ohio's next opponent will be Michigan tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern. This one toward right field, base hit. J.C. Taylor aboard with her first hit. And Wisconsin will have a day off and then play the loser of Game 4, which will be played tomorrow between Illinois and either Kentucky or Indiana. Here's Big Country. We hope you'll join us at 7 Eastern tonight, 6 o'clock Central. Final game of 4 games today between the state champions from Indiana and Kentucky. They'll play station-to-station baseball here. That's a good idea, by the way. You know, you've got this huge lead and don't need to rub it on and rub it in at this point.
Nope, and that's a good veteran coach, and Tim Nickting down there holding the runner up, and he's been here before and he's been on both ends of it.
Sure. So it looks like we'll have a pitching change here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. This inning began with Davis Avery led off with a double, eventually scored. He's already batted twice in the inning and had a 2-run homer. Get a chance to see Brant Rice pitch for the first time as he gets his warm-up tosses in. And we mentioned Kentucky and its storied history in this tournament. First Great Lakes appearance, though, for Lexington Eastern. Ditto for Hinsdale Little League. We'll see Illinois soon, and Wausau you're watching right now. Wisconsin has never made it to the World Series in Williamsport.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty good size of kids out here. I saw a picture only of the roster of that Lexington Eastern team, and I see 2 guys on that team that are as tall as some of the coaches. So be interesting to see what type of power and arms that they bring to this tournament.
Really about the length, the height, huh?
Yeah.
Lots of changes for Wisconsin defensively. First time for Brant Rice to pitch in the tournament. And Nick Brocious is at the plate. So earlier in the inning, Jared Holupnik hit in this spot. Now Brocious is back in. Runners at first and third. There are still 2 outs. To the backstop, runners will remain. At least the runner at third will remain. Instead, Parsons goes down to second. And off the ball 4 count, the bases are loaded. Logan Bell now batting for the second time in the inning.
Got to give it to this Ohio team. 12 hits on the day. 16 they had in the state championship game, trying to match that.
This is the 14th batter to come to the plate in the inning. Love that sign out there, huh? Well, for what it's worth, and it's probably little consolation to Wisconsin fans, but there have been some games in the major leagues that been like this already this season. So it happens.
Yep, and it's no shame. It's happened to this Ohio team. It's happened to me throughout my career. You're on both sides of it. It's just a matter of time, and you know, again, you don't want to, you don't want it to happen.
Base hit will score 1, and they will hold up the runner. Good sportsmanship there. Logan Bell He's come through with his second RBI in the inning.
Keep in mind, this Wisconsin team, we said they got off to a shaky start. In the tournaments coming into this ball game, they lost, as we said before, the first couple games by a combined score of 33-5. So they've been here before. Not a situation you want to be in, but it's not a team that's going to get down.
Maybe it works better coming from behind.
Maybe,
huh?
yep.
So what will manager Jeremy Jersley's speech be to his team when this game is over?
Just the positive attitude. That's what he brings anyway.
More towards center field. Gone. Grand slam. That's the 5 toolkit, everybody. John, I know it's just one game, but Ohio looks downright scary.
It's just reload with this team, and it didn't even look like he got a lot of extension. Just a quick bat through one of the tools he has, and that's the fast twitch muscle. You don't even get full extension, but you can get some pretty good bat speed. And you were asking about the fast twitch. Here's a great example of speed right through the zone.
Kate Polito steps to the plate. And this one toward left field and over the head of the left fielder. Polito around first, will go into second with a stand-up double. Turner Olson had to go back and get that one. Unable to do so, and Kate in the second base. She has reached base 4 of the 5 times she's been at the plate. I have no idea why this reminds me of a major league game, but I recall a game between the Astros and the Reds in which the Reds, back at the old Riverfront Stadium, in the last of the first scored 14 runs on Houston, which I think is a franchise record. So imagine if you showed up late for that game. But, I mean, it happens on all levels.
Sure does. I don't know how you remember that. As a big leaguer, I think you want to try to forget that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily here at this level, but certainly at any other level.
And Wisconsin will get another chance to play. This modified double elimination tournament. And you brought up the fact outscoring the state tournament 33-5 before it got its wings. So it's going to be in a similar hole, but still time to make up ground.
And they asked Jeremy Jersley, the skipper on this team, what his thoughts are with the team. He said, just go out and play, enjoy it, and that's what these kids will do.
Inning is over. Jersley makes the catch. And in this inning, among others, Davis Avery went deep, and Braden Moore went yard as well with a grand slam. And with a 10-run rule looming, an opportunity for Davis Avery and this Ohio team to end the game here in the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the order, scheduled to hit for Wisconsin. Tomorrow morning, Ohio will get an opportunity to extend its hitting magic. Match up against Michigan, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. We'll have it for you on ESPN. Then Illinois will play the winner of the Indiana-Kentucky game in the Great Lakes region. That'll be game 2 tomorrow. As for Wisconsin, they'll play at 10 a.m. sharp, 9 Central, against the loser of that Illinois Indiana/Kentucky game. Hope you have all that.
I was just thinking what Michigan's thinking right now. You know, they're in the stands watching, scouting.
Yep. But you know, it all starts, I think, with Braden Moore, the leadoff hitter.
Yep.
His ability to get on base. But then you've got Kate Polito, Blake Detheridge, Davis Avery, who had 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 2-run homer in that top of the 4th inning. I mean, there's hardly a weakness in that batting order for Ohio.
No. But we've seen good pitching will stop some good hitting, and be interesting to see the arms that they throw out there tomorrow if they can slow this team down.
Little pop up on the infield, 1 out. Caught by Nick Brocious. Bring up Lemansky with a chance to pinch hit here. That's Taylor Lemansky. Taylor plays a little bit of infield and outfield. He's also served in the starting role as well. And down the left field line, and fair. Lemansky around first will get into second base with the double. Well, that's the way to do it as a pinch hitter.
Well, that ball right over the bag there. It almost looked like home plate umpire. Take a look at this ball.
Brian Hollowell really was in the best position to see this. And there will be no challenge, not at this point, certainly.
Good decision.
Yep. That one inside, gets away, and runner down to third base. Batter right now for Wisconsin is Jake Pease. Well, despite the fact that this game is likely to finish in 4 innings, the length of this is approaching 2 hours. I imagine the 22 runs scored probably have something to do with that.
A little bit.
And we were witness to Michigan and Kentucky a couple of years ago. And I can't remember who was on the upside of that game, but there was an 11-run first inning. That one into center field will score a run. Good piece of hitting off the bench by Taylor Lemansky, and now Jake Pease. And Wisconsin has runs in each of the first 4 innings of this game.
There's a good look at him down at first base. Get an opportunity to get in that bat, take advantage of it, and Jacob Pease does it and delivers an RBI single.
Turner Olson now with a chance to hit. We're approaching the dinner hour in Indianapolis, just about 6 o'clock. 4 games today, 4 more tomorrow, then 4 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, and then we reach the semifinals and the finals for both the Great Lakes and Midwest regions. ESPN televising 140 softball and Little League Baseball tournament games. That is a record. Called third strike, 2 outs. And Ohio an out away from winning its opening round game.
And with a pitch count number, you're forced to make a change out on the mound.
So that means you won't get a save, right? Just kidding. And it looks like Ethan Mueller will have a chance to finish the game for Ohio.
As bad as this is, that you don't want to bring somebody else in like you're making a pitching change. Of course, everybody understands why, but it certainly does give another guy on the mound a chance to get comfortable that you may need tomorrow.
Yeah.
After throwing 36 pitches with a threshold count of 35, number 4, Davis Avery.
Pitching eligibility
Mound now playing second.
graphic that we presented from time to time indicates why these changes are made. As your best pitchers, you want around as much as possible in this tournament. And when you have a lead much like Ohio has, as John has mentioned, you want to be able to keep everybody fresh and available. So you get a chance to spread the wealth.
Now batting for Wisconsin.
Keegan Jersley, who hit a home run back in the third. And has his second hit of the game. So with 2 outs and Wisconsin and out away from elimination. Runners now at first and second. Elimination in this game anyway. And Landon Parlier.
Number 5, Landon Parlier.
You can see where Jersley kind of hand down from the grandfather to the father to the son. And
well, a tough day so far for the Jersley family. They'll lose this game, and grandfather Mike's Royals rallied but lose their game to the Mariners. Game 1 of a doubleheader, 8-7. They'll follow up with a second game shortly. Ball and a strike, 2 outs in the fourth. And now Ohio a strike away. Ethan Mueller in relief. Back to the mound. This should do it. Game 1 of the Great Lakes Regional goes to Ohio. Well, John, they came out of the hotel with bats ablazing and never stopped.
now they started hitting for the very top of it. This Ohio team that has experience, has been here before. One player on the team here from last year, and he hits a grand slam. But for Wisconsin, they got another game to play tomorrow. They'll get ready for that. But for Ohio, they got to get ready to go quickly. And a team with the experience, so it'll be interesting to see how quick both of these teams bounce back after today's game.
In the case of Ohio, 4th inning for the record. 17 men to the plate, and women, 13 runs scored. So Ohio wins this game and moves on to face Michigan tomorrow, and we move on to Indiana and Kentucky in 1 hour. Thanks for joining us on ESPN. We'll see you at 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock Central for Indiana, Kentucky.